Okay. Just had this guy, Slavko, he's always strong, from Slovenia. Sugar 57 Delta X-ray. 59 plus 20 on this. Just show you how all this works. Just power supply puts out 28 volts, it says 24 on there. Puts 28 out, it goes straight into the vehicle interface unit, which is the lower box. They call it a vehicle interface unit because it interfaces with, obviously, vehicles with 24 volts. They either come just as an interface unit or it's an interface unit slash amp. So this one has the 100 watt amp. 100 watts, it's actually putting out about 120 odd on CW. AM solid 110 amps. I was quite surprised at AM, I thought that would be lower. In single sideband that peaks up to 130 as well if you really whistle. On normal voice it's below 100. So obviously, because this is like a man pack, so I'll just try and show you. So the radio just sits on top of this. It doesn't clip in anything. It just sits on top. And the terminals, the battery terminals, are on this side, and they connect onto the, from the back of the radio where the battery would go, onto this. And then you just have there's two mounting lugs. You just basically screw them tight and it pushes the radio right back against the vehicle interface unit amplifier. 2 audio outputs, you can use data on this one as well. This connector here is to go to, this one comes out and goes into the vehicle interface unit. This is the control cable. So when this is connected, the radio knows not to put out 20 watts, 25 watts, and it basically puts out milliamps. And the milliamp output from the RF, because this is connected, it knows, feeds into the interface unit here. This very short cable is the RF. RF out, RF in, and then the power obviously goes in here. Now this connector is for an automatic ATU. Now I had this one connected up using the cable here. So there is a cable. It's just a Klansman 7 pin. All the control cables are Klansman 7 pin, and it goes into here. And the other cable, which is the RF cable, goes into the RF out. So at the moment I've taken the ATU out of the equation because I know my antenna is resonant on the 20 meter band. So I'm plugging the antenna straight into the RF out of the vehicle interface unit. So there's no tuning, the internal ATU doesn't work. So you have to make sure you've got a resonant antenna. And it transmits because it knows there's no external ATU connected. When I connect the ATU up, this is the ATU, I'm going to show you that now. It's there's not much on it on the internet. I mean, it's a BCC 540B, and I know on the Syncal manual it says to interface with a BCC 540G, which I assume is a later one. I think it's more solid state, this is older. But when I do connect it up, the first time I connect it, and you have to switch this to tune. So it's on high power because it's connected to the vehicle interface unit. This has got off, low, medium, high and tune. So on low it puts out 2 watts, medium it puts out 20, 25 watts. That's man pack. High makes no difference if it's man pack. High only makes a difference if you've got the vehicle interface unit on, which then puts milliampere output through the RF into here and drives the amplifier. When you flick that to tune, with the ATU connected, it will obviously send a signal to tune this. Now, when I do it the first time it works, and then after that it won't. The only way I can get it to retune is I disconnect either the control cable here or there, and it must be dropping some signal and then reasserting it or something, because then the next time I go to tune, it tunes. But this tuner is quite heavy. I mean, these were supposed to go in Land Rovers or whatever, I guess, and this would have connected directly to a whip antenna on a vehicle. Or if you were stationary, maybe in a camp with a wire antenna. I'm not really 100% sure how these work, but the control cable comes in from the vehicle interface unit and it connects to this. The RF out, if the antenna wouldn't have been directly connected, there'll be a cable goes from here, this one I've got down here, connects to that, and it connects to the RF in. So there's RF in and control on the front. And if you look at the back, this comes with a plastic cover that I took off because I was doing stuff with it. So if you look at the back of this, I'm going to try and hold this so I don't switch this off. So on the back of this, if I can tilt it up, you've got one RF out BNC. It looks like that says, I mean that's like an earth symbol there. I'm assuming that's for this terminal. So maybe this needs to be an earth, which I've never connected. So, and on this side it says whip. Apologies it's upside down. So this lever on the back of here, basically you slacken this off and you can disconnect it, and then you can connect it to here instead. When you connect it to here, you can't put a BNC in there. It's impossible to fit a BNC. So obviously the only option you've got is to connect a wire, I assume, to here. If you're not using a whip antenna, you connect a wire antenna, which I've not really done. What I did was I actually connected a wire to this, and it was lying on the ground. Would you believe it or not? It wasn't even up, and it tuned it, and I actually spoke to someone in Spain with the antenna lying on the ground. It was just lying on the ground in the garage, straight off of here with a bit of wire. I had nothing on the ground. I'm not sure if that is ground or not. It looks like a ground photo for this. So you've got two options. You either have it shortened on this one, or you have it on this side, which I assume is for whip antennas, which means you can use a 50 ohm BNC and it's whip. So I'm not sure how much size. I guess a lot of whip antennas are maybe 10 feet long, maybe longer. I just had the half-wave end-fed connected, so maybe that's part of the problem. I don't know. I don't think so, because it's 50 ohm. So it doesn't matter. I mean, if it's connected there, I can have the BNC connected and it says whip. So I guess any sort of antenna that needs to be matched that's small. And I assume if you just disconnect it and don't have it connected, it doesn't work properly, I don't think. So if you put it to here and then short it, I assume the earth terminal, there's a counterpoise goes here and a wire goes on this side. But I mean that's all there is to it on this one. It does tune, because when it works I can hear the relays or whatever it is inside clicking, and the radio goes to good to say it's tuned. So it's obviously sending a signal, and I just need to hold this out there. It's obviously doing that, but I mean that's it. I mean, and this plastic cover goes back on and you can feed coax or whatever through it. I guess the cover's there to stop these getting shorted if it's in a vehicle. So, I mean that's the ATU. Not much to it. Some of these connections are a bit dodgy. I mean this one looks alright, but the other one here, I mean, Jesus, I would never wire something like that. I'm assuming it's working though. I don't think that's the issue. because I've wiggled it around and it makes no difference. It's only when you disconnect the control cable either on this end or that end and then flick to tune again, it'll tune. If you do it once, try to do it again and go to tune, it'll just fail. So back to the PSU. It's a really heavy thing. I was too scared to put it. This is a kitchen dining table I moved out here because we've got a smaller one in the house now and I don't want to mark it, so that's why I always cover it with stuff. This is really heavy and it's sharp. It looks like this would have been mounted on a rack or something. So I've just stuck it on a couple of bits of old decking wood and it's really heavy. All it's got is an output. There is a ground connection. I'm not bothered connecting anything up. I guess that's maybe just to make things safer. There is power supply on off and there's a speaker. Now these speaker connectors, I assume you can feed a radio's audio output or audio output from anything into this, and there's a speaker in here. It's 6-pin. So what I might do is work out what the 6-pin Racal is and what it is on here, and I can just push a couple of wires in to see if I can get any audio. Just have to be careful I don't short anything out on the radio. I might try it with something else, like one of my 320s that are not as expensive. I mean, if that speaker works, that's handy. I just need 6-pin or just makeshift something up for it. But I mean, that's been on now for about 3 or 4 hours, and I've tested the voltage, and it's pretty good. Like I said, one of the on this switch here, it's got the mode selector. So you've got USB, CW, LSB, CW, AM, FSK, and Z means 0. When you turn this round to FSK, normally it would stop, but there's a button missing that you push under here that unlocks the switch, and it will go past FSK to Z. Now if it goes to Z, it just wipes all the frequencies. All this goes back to 0, and you have to re-input the frequency. Or if you've got any channels, this has got 9 channels in it. So if you go to this, these can be programmed. There's 9 of them. I've not programmed any of them up, so you can program them on this one as well. So I go back, and if you go, the program channels will just stay on that with a 10 kHz shift, but on 0 you've got full VFO. Now this is volume. It can go down to whisper mode. So if you go to this one or this one, it's whisper mode, meaning the audio you can whisper, but it turns the volume down as well. Now when I've got the headphones on, this is more than adequate. Bit like on this, it's quite quiet, but on the headphones it's great. Now on this one, you can press, there's a button on this one for locking. You can go past that and you can put it to receive transmit frequency, so you can input the receive and transmit for the channels and program them, or just receive. So you can basically go round to that, to the first one, receive transmit, and this megahertz will flash. So you can turn the VFO knob and you can change frequencies. So instead of constantly turning this to jump between bands, you just basically press the unlock, go to receive transmit, change your megahertz or your megahertz frequencies, and you press the push to talk to go between each one. It will flash, and then you flick this back, so that saves you having to jump around using the VFO a lot. So that's what that's for. So this has got the interlock button on it. I can't show you because it's bolted on, but you just push up, it's on a spring contact, and it'll let it go past that. This one's missing, which is a little bit annoying, but never mind. Like you said, you could probably get, if I could get this one off, I could probably get a, I forgot what I was going to say there. I could probably get it made, you know, like mold with plastic, like you said, Perrin. I can't remember. It's gone out of my head now. My brain's pickled. But yeah, I mean, it's been on for about the last four hours. 3 or 4 hours. I just got this guy 5.9 plus 20. It is putting out very good power directly on a resonant antenna. When it goes through the ATU and I have the power meter on the output at the back, it's about 90 watts. 90, just under 100, so you're losing a good 10 watts through the ATU. At least 10 watts. But you know, it's still acceptable. I guess it's a compromise if you were using a long wire. A little bit pissed off I have to keep disconnecting the control cable to get it to redo the tune, which is a bit weird. I don't get it. Maybe try grounding it better with the ground connection and put a long wire antenna on it and just string it out the window and see what that does. But I've got a funny feeling the signal's not getting to the ATU to retune after it's done it once, or something's sticking second time. And I mean, if you disconnect the control cable no matter which end and reconnect it, it seems to reset whatever it's doing and it retunes. It does tune because I got a perfect SWR when it was about 1.2 or 1.3 normally. This was taking it to 1 to 1 or 1.0 because I had the SWR meter connected. But yeah, it's a good radio. I mean, it's alright. I mean, I can see why people like it because it's got the VFO, and you know, I guess it's just quite easy to use and it's ham friendly. But you know, to be perfectly honest, I still prefer the 320. I don't know what it is. It's just the 320 is more versatile. The one thing with this is, unless you've got it connected to the vehicle interface unit, you can't bypass the ATU. So the ATU is always used, no matter if you've got a whip connected in here or you've got an antenna connected through the BNC socket here. Everything goes through the ATU, whether it's resonant or not. You can't switch it out. There's no bridging, not like the Klansman where you can bypass it, which is one advantage of the Klansman. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy with it. It's rough around the edges. You know, it's been bashed about a bit. It's obviously been in a vehicle and scratched. I mean, the guy that had this wouldn't have done all this damage. This would have happened when it was in use, in military use. I mean, that's all black paint. I think it's black matte, or it might be semi-gloss. The front looks semi-gloss, and maybe matte I get away with. I could paint the black, definitely. This is definitely an early model, because I saw Robin mentioned that the serial number of this is below 1,000. He said he's never seen one. It's 128, the serial number. And that's why I said to him, I said, yeah, yours will have the different earthing.